Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to the number 4 ink in the Viewer's Choice series. These are 8 inks that were chosen by the viewers of this channel by a vote. And so today we're doing Blackstone Daintree Green. And this ink was tied, it was a 3-way tie between Blackstone Daintree Green, Monteverde Horizon Blue, and Pelican Edelstein Olivine. So it was right up there getting top votes. And it's just a beautiful green. It's bright, but it's dark enough. And oh, I've had fun so far. And green is not my primary favorite color or anything, but it's just awesome. So let's get right in here. Actually, before I do that, let's put this in the bath test. This is today's sample. So we'll put that in there and see what happens while we're talking. It's a little different each time right now since we're not doing a series of the same, from the same ink manufacturer. It's kind of going to be a little bit of a surprise probably. So, okay, this is yesterday's KWZ Standard Brown Pink, and it did act very typically, and it went away with the water bath test. So. All right, so that's not completely lifting immediately, so we'll just push it aside a little bit. This is in the Rhodia Gold book, my starting place for this. And gosh, I like how it looks. It stands right out, and you can tell it's green. It's not so dark that it disappears into black or anything, to my way of thinking. I found that it is available at Anderson Pens. $1.25 for your 3 ml sample, or a 30 ml bottle for $8.50. And I am just such a lucky pen person because my pen friend Benu sent me this little bottle. So I have a good supply of this beautiful ink, and I just love it. And thank you very, very much. So in the broad nib, it's you know, in the serendipity in the broad nib, here it is. All of this was written with that. And my first impressions are that it's just gorgeous. It's in that green family that I do love, that's like nature, you know, I would say. And it is named, this ink is made in Australia, and it's named after the Daintree Rainforest, which I think would be really neat to research that a little and learn about it. It said online that it was in northeast Australia. So at first it reminded me of Diamine Sherwood Green, my memory of the ink, and that was one of the first greens that I had, that I think was actually gifted to me. Well, it was part of a giveaway, but it was an extra in a giveaway. So that was the first thing I thought of, but we'll get to the panels in a little bit. Let's continue looking at notebooks. So this is the Cafe Note by Nanami Paper Company. It's got Tomoe River paper, and I'm cataloging my ongoing weight loss venture through intermittent fasting and low carb, and I like how it looks in here. You can see it brightened up here just a little bit, and that might give you or me more of a opportunity to see what it might look like in a medium nib, because it sort of you know, at the beginning here, it was much darker, and I saw lots of shading. Let's see if we can get that to show up. It's a little hard to, yeah, the camera says, where do you want me to focus? But there's a lot of shading, and it's dark. It was dark at first in that pen. If you're just now tuning in, I am using my Serendipity, which is a special fountain pen. It's a hybrid. It's a fountain pen and dip pen by Robert Oster and James Phineas. So it has a little reservoir, and it takes up quite a bit of ink, and you see a pretty even distribution, but it does change after a page or two, and it lightens up a little, and I kind of like that. I like the variation. So things are going well, but I'm also you know, struggling just a little bit with where I want my intermittent fasting pattern to end up. You know, whether I have to be on one meal a day. I don't think so right now. Actually, I think it's going to be kind of a 18-6 pattern with 2 meals. But Anyway, that's off topic for this early in the video. Here is the little new notebook I'm using that came as a pen goodie from Ink Journal in the Inkflight box. And it's this brand here. I probably shouldn't even try saying it because I don't know how. Every day I'm keeping up with the little gratitude challenge in here. And see how that paper is? It just, wow. And it doesn't, I can put as much as I want on there with a paintbrush, and it doesn't show back on the other side other than just a little bit of shadowing. Is that not incredible? I guess, you know, I'm probably the last one on the bus about this paper, but it's just wonderful. And here's today's with the Daintree Green. And I'm trying, I sometimes tilt it because I've got really good natural light to the left of me in a window. I think you can even see the red sheen right there. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, see that? It sheens up sometimes, and it's really dramatic. Really, really pretty. And, you know, this is nothing. This is just me trying to get a really good look at what it looks like, you know, to paint with it. So, there's that. Okay, let's get right into the paper. Oh, I guess I messed with this before it dried, because that's not the fault of the ink or the pen. This is Tomoe River paper 52G, and I see a lot of shading. I don't know about you, up at the top of the letters there, but yet it's nice and dark, and I still definitely see that's a green ink, which I like. Excuse that little mess there I made. This is Leuchtturm 1917, right out of a bullet journal, and it darkens just a little on there, and you know, kind of fades your shading just a little, but I really like it. And the fact that it doesn't bleed through is just a bonus for me, because I'm in that bullet journal a lot. So here's Clairefontaine 90 gram, really nice paper. Holds it, of course, beautifully and shows some shading on there. And that's nice. And then here's Rhodia Dot Pad 80G paper. Again, I really have I have favoritism toward this paper. I like it quite a bit. I can see the shading, and it isn't quite as dark. The ink kind of retains a lot of variety on this paper. So, okay, and here we are on CVS Caliber paper. I don't know why that all of a sudden looks so dark. Definitely there's a difference. But this is such a saturated ink. You don't lose so much of the color. I'm still quite happy with how it looks on this paper. And it did flow right along. Of course, that's a broad nib and nice wet writer. So that makes a difference. It really does, depending on what nib you're using. Here's the Office Depot College Rule notebook. And it just sucked up a lot of ink on there. Let's see. But it didn't really do what I would call feather. It just, you can probably tell... Maybe not. It almost turns it black. Not quite. My eye can see the green, but it's difficult. Oh my goodness, to capture. Okay, so let's peek in on our experiment here. Let's see. Okay, looks like that's probably going to go away. I could see a faded amount of letters, but not much. And I have a feeling that's probably going to disappear, but who knows. Okay, so... let's get right on here. This is the panel I did this morning, actually. I was up early. Despite the time change, I couldn't sleep. So, here we are. Our ink is where it's supposed to be, in the top left corner there. And I think even from here you can see that red sheen. But I'll hold it up a little. Look at that sheening. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. It really is. And because I'm not as interested in green, I don't have, you guys probably have some darker greens and some more to compare with, but so I only really had a few that were in the ballpark. You know, I would say maybe this top 6, and then we start getting ridiculous down here, but I just got them out anyway to fill the rest of the panel. I thought it was pretty interesting. Now, I had remembered Diamine Sherwood Green as being darker, so maybe, I mean, I'm not using it in a nib right at this moment, so maybe the memory would be true if I had it in a nib. But it definitely was more, it moved around more with the water, and it just doesn't show up quite as dark as as the Blackstone ink does. The Daintree Green is just quite striking. And I mean, it's right up there in my mind with KWZ Green number 5. And green it kind of leans, this one, Green number 5, it seems to me like it leans over toward like a shamrock green, or almost, almost. But it's still such a beautiful green. But if you're looking for something a little darker, and there may be lots more, you'll have to put in the comments. I'm sure people will, and it's really helpful actually, because there's so many different shades of each color. We can't own all of them. We wouldn't have room, and we wouldn't have time in our lifetime to write with all of them. And then this one, which is still in the running, of course, for a future Viewer's Choice panel. Monteverde Yosemite Green. That's a dark, real striking green too. It starts leaning over a little bit toward aqua or teal, a little tiny bit in its composition, but up here, of course, it's very green, and I'll bet it would be in a nib too. So then we have Caran d'Ache Vibrant Green. That's pretty. It's the same thing there. It's picking up on a lot more of the color, and where Daintree Green is staying quite green. It's very green. Gee, I'm like, oh my goodness. I know you could make your own observations here, and then this was not a mistake, but it goes on blue, so I started to freak out, but the Birmingham Thomas Mellon Evergreen goes on blue, which shocks you because it says Evergreen in its description. So we're way out of league here. And then of course Noodler's Polar Green is a permanent ink, so it didn't move around at all. And then this green was just so different, but it shows, this is another Birmingham Sport Denali Grass Stain Green. So that was interesting. And then I did the visual journal. Let's take a look at that. Let me leave this here. So I keep forgetting. It kind of works as a nice prop up. So here it is. I did 2 of them. And as you can see, it stays green. And you do see the blue emerging, kind of, or the teal, aqua, kind of lighter colors on the edges, which I thought was interesting. I wish it had stayed the way it was when it was first coming out. It did soften and blur quite a bit, but it was just, this just looked like as if you were walking in the forest and looking up. That it looked like trees, and it was really, really amazing. And then it started to soften and blur a little with the water. But I thought it had a lot of, let's get it a little closer, a lot of interest anyway, and it almost looks like a little like opening to another dimension or something. I got really interested in how that came out and why that one area was the only area that the ink didn't get into. So that was fun. Huh. So this was a really pleasant surprise, to find that it's a green, and it's a green that I would write with. I will be writing with today. I'm not going to clean the Serendipity till I've written some letters. Sunday is, for me, a day when I at least write a few letters, and I do that throughout the week off and on too, but I enjoy writing letters a lot on Sundays, so a lot more. Maybe it's just a more relaxed kind of, not quite as much going on. Whoops, I gotta my desk all dirty. Okay, so let's look at what's next. I'm gonna get down the panel so we can get a real good, so we've done 4. We're halfway, which is really good and really surprising. Actually, it's going fast. So next is Monteverde Horizon Blue. That's gonna brighten up the page for sure. Mercy, that's just, already I can see a lot going on in there too, which is hard to capture on camera. But that's next, and let's see if I've got it on an index too. So very pretty, bright blue, and obviously myself and other viewers like blue because we have a total of 3 blues that were voted on, but Monteverde Horizon Blue is next, and so thank you very much for being here. We have one other exciting thing gonna happen soon. I'm sure the ink flight will be arriving soon, but it's gonna be interesting to see whether we finish these 4 before it gets here, because I don't think I've got the I got the confirmation that of the purchase, you know, that I'm confirmed. I have a seat, in other words, on the flight. But I think maybe tomorrow I'll get the shipping confirmation. So it's not a race against time, but it's going to be interesting to see whether we have these all done. And then we can swatch and make a panel for our next ink flight. And that's sort of my plan, is that it'll be fairly seamless. So let's just see what happens and on the timing. But not to worry, because there's other things going on too that I'm working on. So that if there's a gap, it will just be a bonus for me to maybe do another review I've been waiting on. So thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.